Hi, everyone. This is Rob Roy, and welcome to the HUBB Financial Crypto Show, where we talk all things crypto with our resident crypto expert, Mr. Brandon Burton. We were having a little chat before we started this recording on what's going on behind the scenes, and he always has pearls of wisdom. How you doing, Brandon?
So good, Rob. Dude, I missed you, man. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been
It
busy.
has been. Yeah, and things have been moving since we last talked, so I'm excited to hear what you have to say about the recent movements in cryptos all over the world.
Yeah, so much to cover here. Obviously, we're going to go over that, and then I got to get your advice on a couple of things here at the end. But I had to wear my orange Bitcoin watch ceremoniously because we hit 69K over Sunday, it looks like. So anyway, but we have a lot going on in the markets, and I'm going to tell you why we have what we have going on in the markets, because it kind of just makes sense, and then we kind of see what's going to happen in the future once we realize what we see right now. So let's go ahead and do that, because I think that's important. First things first, obviously, if you're following us over at Digital Investor and you did get into that juke play we talked about a couple of months ago, paid off big today. They did their quarterly ASR rewards, which is their automatic staking reward program for just voting and stuff over at Jupiter, their Jupiter governance page. Ended up paying 18% today on those Jupe that you have staked. So, for example, had you have purchased $10,000 in Jupiter, you would have gotten an $1,800 quick bonus today. If you annualize that out, it's about 70 some odd percent that you get over the year. Pretty good just for buying and holding Jupiter. Not to mention, it's up about 20% since a couple of weeks ago. So pretty good there. But a lot of people are asking me, even over at our program, they're talking about Bitcoin. Why is it doing what it's doing? So we always have to kind of go over this stuff. And the first reason that Bitcoin is behaving the way it is obviously the elections. You hit on it already, Rob. You talked about it. But right now, Polymarket is showing a clear divergence of who's going to be winning this election. And obviously, Bitcoin is trading almost hand in hand with this chart. Now, obviously, this market could be swayed a little bit. They're saying a French guy's coming in and swaying the market by betting $5 million chunks. He's up to $25 million in bets on Trump. But I don't know about you, but regardless if I have $25 million, I'm not going to go throw it away on a bet that I know I'm going to lose. So anyway, I really think Polymarket is one of those things where you put your money where your mouth is, and you think that this is going to happen in the election. So Bitcoin is behaving in a way that they think, hey, Trump might be going to go win this election here, even if that's contradictory to the polls that we're seeing over in the United States. But Trump, if he does win, he's given us a clear outline what's going to happen in crypto, which that's all we need. We need regulation, and we need to know what's going to be happening with the legal side of crypto going forward over the next 4 years. And he's been very much an advocate of that. He's also told us on day number 1, he's going to go ahead and fire Gary Gensler, which is super important for the crypto community, because Gary is lost in the weeds there, buddy. He doesn't know what he's doing anymore. So poor Gary.
How do you really feel about him, Brandon? I'm not sure. Over all these weeks we've been talking, I'm just a little unclear on your viewpoint on that.
Yeah, no, I feel bad. The irony, he used to teach Bitcoin at MIT. Dude, he used to go through what blockchain is. Now he's flipping. I think he got paid off, because there's no way he could be saying the things he is and pulling the shenanigans he is if he didn't have a paycheck coming under the table there, padding his pockets, because he cannot be that. Anyway,
well, reason number a conspiracy guy, so I'm totally with you there. I wouldn't doubt that whatsoever.
So you believe it? Okay, so yeah, Senator Warren's definitely slipping him some cash. So reason number 2, obviously. And this is the bigger one. I think this is the one that's basically the brunt of what's swinging this market this way is Larry Fink. Larry Fink has declared Bitcoin its own standalone asset, which we've known that for a while here on the show. We've been talking about this for a while. But he said that Bitcoin is going to reach mainstream adoption and grow to the size of the U.S. housing market, which, depending on who you ask, is $11 trillion or $50 trillion. Which I know that's a big spread, but currently Bitcoin's at about 1 point whatever trillion. I mean, it's down there a ways. That's a 10x to a 50x from here, depending on how you interpret what he was talking about. And he's backed it up. If you look at this next chart here, Larry Fink has taken out his little bat over there at IBIT and started buying Bitcoin in bulk this last week. So when you look at this, and this is just week 41 of the ETFs buying, total ETFs, this isn't just IBIT alone, but total ETFs, they've purchased 31,000 Bitcoin. Okay. And as we know, if you're of the Bitcoin crowd, only 3,150 are purchased or are made every single week. So they've taken 10x the supply of Bitcoin out of circulation, which is actually a pretty big deal. And if you look at the top Bitcoin holders, BlackRock has moved into number 3 just because of this last week's purchases. And they've moved up. They've passed iFinex. They've passed Fidelity, obviously Grayscale. They've moved past MicroStrategy, leaving Michael Saylor in the dust there. But they now own 385,000 Bitcoin, which is a staggering amount. They know what they're doing. And they're kind of putting their money, just like Polymarket, putting their money where their mouth is. But the last thing that I see here as why the market is kind of where it is if you look at the exchanges, you can kind of see how much Bitcoin is left on the exchanges. Right now, we just reached a multi-year low, and there is a staggeringly low amount of Bitcoin on the exchanges, which, as you know, in stock or in any type of finance, once you run out of supply, demand starts to exceed it very quickly, and you have what they call a short squeeze or a supply crunch. Okay, so both of those things are going to keep happening because right now Larry Fink and his army are starting to pitch Bitcoin to everybody under the sun, and the ETFs are buying Bitcoin hand over fist. And you can see that with the price. It's reflected very, very easily with the price having passed and almost got to 70K on Sunday, and every Monday for some reason when the US markets open, it seems to drop, but that's okay. This last slide that I want to show you here, this is gold versus Bitcoin. And typically Bitcoin does follow gold. And you can actually see those patterns illustrated very well here in this chart. But gold has created what they call, I think you in the business call it is a cup and handle type pattern. And maybe I can get your advice on this a little bit here in a second. A cup and handle. And once that handle got formed, it just absolutely took off. And then if you look at the adjacent chart there, the Bitcoin chart, forming the exact same pattern, the cup and handle pattern. And right now we are on the precipice of breaking out of that handle. And it serendipitously is colliding with the election. Just like you mentioned with the S&P, everything is coming to a point. And as all these things start to culminate, we are going to see some fireworks coming up here in a couple of weeks, Rob.
I 100% agree with you. A couple of comments of what you were talking about is, and first of all, the media is going to want us to believe that this election is a toss-up and nobody knows who's going to win because they want everybody to watch their networks on election night, right? So it's all about getting eyes on the viewership from the media. So when they're talking about how it's a coin toss, who knows? Things you're talking about make a whole lot more sense. And I do agree with you that it was a Frenchman that it's got 25 million in bets already. I would agree with you that I don't care how you got the 25 million, you apparently know something about something. So if you've got that much money to put on any one bet, clearly you've been successful in other areas of your life. So if he's putting on a bet that big, then he must feel fairly confident that he's going to be right. So yeah, that was interesting tidbits that you gave. And the cup and handle, you're correct on that. And gold has broken from it. And you're right. Bitcoin has the identical pattern, and you would expect that it follows suit. So that's what normally happens out of that pattern. In the world of technical analysis, no pattern's 100%, but that's one that a lot of people talk about and a lot of people watch and get excited when they see it. So not only that, you can see the consolidation there over on the right-hand side, and Bitcoin is almost absolutely identical, as you pointed out, to gold. So I'm excited to see Bitcoin make that break and follow along. Certainly looks like that's what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, I think so as well. And gosh, dang it, Rob! Holy cow! When did we start doing the show? I mean, we were at 40,000 Bitcoin. Has this not been the easiest play of your entire life, just to double your money this year? I told you back when we started. I said it's going to 80,000. We're getting there, and I think after this election, we're going to see this thing swing all the way through. Especially if we get Donald Trump out there putting the numbers up and getting that win. I think, and this is crazy because I think November 5th, November 6th, it's going to be a crazy day in crypto. And we're going to see some big swings in Bitcoin one way or another for sure. So we're going to have to watch this thing and watch it play out. But regardless of who wins, we're still in the seat that, I mean, even if Kamala wins, we're going to see a little bit of a downturn, but it will recover because Bitcoin is Bitcoin, right? I still believe it's going to be the same asset as it was yesterday. Nothing changes with the fundamentals of Bitcoin. So don't worry your little self about that. You might see a little dip, but overall, we're still going to reach the end targets there. And there's some pretty crazy ones out there. But I'm sticking with this year, and we're going to just kind of watch this thing get up to 80,000 and kind of see how things play out here. So,
well, you showed me a few charts a few weeks ago, and I think we were talking about it looked like a pretty good buying opportunity on those charts, and that has come to fruition. So anyone that's been listening to you has had a pretty profitable last few weeks. And I also agree with you, regardless on who wins the election. Obviously, we know that Trump is very pro crypto, et cetera. But even if Kamala was to win, I think, as you said, it's a short-term dip, maybe, and then it turns and comes back. It's not really going to be that dependent on who wins over the long term, but it could have an effect on what happens short term.
yeah, definitely. I think so as well. I think, yeah, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Ethereum. If we show this on my screen here, we talked about Ethereum. It was on the 7th, I think we were last time. And if we go over here since then, since the 7th, I think it was trading about, oh my gosh, if I'm looking at this correctly, maybe 24, 25. Since then,
Yep.
I mean, it kind of bobbled around a little bit here for a second, and then it just started to take off, and then it bobbled around a little bit more, and then over the weekend, obviously, it shot up again. It got up to 2750, maybe a little higher, and it's pulled it back a little bit. And I think this is a normal retrace for a Monday. But I think this will start to trade a little bit sideways for the week again as we get a little bit more news coming in. And then I think it'll take that next leg higher just, with Bitcoin. But what we really got to look at here is we got to make sure that we're not losing against Bitcoin. And I'm not sure if I have that. Oh, I do. I have that chart ready to go here. We got to make sure that we're not losing too much against Bitcoin in the long run, because if you're going to be in the crypto space, you remember you always got to trade against Bitcoin and not against the US dollar. So against Bitcoin, this is the 7th when we talked last, right? So it was trading in and around here. We were at about a 0.389, maybe a 0.39, and now we're at about a 0.395. So we are trading up against Bitcoin, which is a win for us. So that's exactly what we want to do. We want to trade up against Bitcoin and make sure that we're always staying above that ratio. So against the Bitcoin dominance, that's where we want to be. Otherwise, you might as well just hold Bitcoin and hang out with that. So that's a pretty good one. The last chart that I wanted to show here, just because we're still looking at it, that I think is a really good one to look at, is the Solana BTC chart. Now, Solana tells a little bit of a different story here, especially as of late. A lot of people thought that thing was drifting down since the 7th. We'll just go to that date again. We had this big run up, and then it started to crater a little bit, and everybody thought, oh man, everybody's going to Sui, everybody's going to Aptos. Crap, we're going to lose a little bit of our stronghold here. And then all of a sudden, it just absolutely demolished. It took off against Bitcoin. It took off against Ethereum. It looks like people are still playing the memes because there's a new meme resurgence. And I could talk about 20 minutes about what's happening with the memes over there and the AI generated meme coins and the AI generated bots and the AI agents and stuff. But that's just like a story for another day, kind of stuff we talk about over at Digital Investor and kind of go through the details on that and why that's happening. But there's a lot going on here, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot.
Yeah, and
anyway,
you're right. Even I get a lot of people talking about, why do you talk about Ethereum? It's Solana. You should be talking about Solana. And I certainly don't have near the background that you do. And that's exactly how it goes in the world of trading. And then, Brandon, you start to get away from something, like people getting away from Ethereum, and then it takes off. And so the meme craze has definitely taken over on Solana, and that's where all that younger generation has been focused. But I do think they're missing the boat a little bit if they take their eye off the ball completely on Ethereum. You got to be spread out, right? I mean, you preach diversification regardless of what you're talking about and what market you're talking about in the crypto world as well. So I don't want to get too focused on any one area. And I think that's what you're so good at, is giving us the little nuggets of what's going on behind the scenes and what areas to take a look at. And so Ethereum took off all of those vertical moves that you showed on the chart. Anytime you have a vertical move, you're going to get a consolidation, and that's what Ethereum did. It went vertically, consolidated, then went vertically again, and that's just the typical way that technical analysis works, regardless of the charts. What I'm interested in is after that vertical move that we've had in gold, it seemed to me that it would tie off really well, that maybe gold goes a little bit sideways now while Bitcoin takes off and makes the vertical move to the upside that gold has just made. That would make a lot of sense to me. So gold consolidates its recent run up, and then Bitcoin takes off in the meantime. That technical analysis 101 right there.
Easy read, easy to prepare for too, I guess, right? After you see that, it's like, hey, what did my brother just do? Okay, I'll do that. Same thing. So,
well, the naysayers on Ethereum have been proven wrong. So I think people need to listen to experts like you rather than just throw caution to the wind. But yeah, you've been spot on, and you may be a little bit low on the targets that you were given, if anything, the way we're looking now.
May have to recalibrate by the end of the year. After the election, we'll be able to see more clearly for sure. But sitting on our hands this week, we'll just watch the next couple of weeks how they play out, and hopefully we'll be back with good news here on November 8th.
So you're pulling a rabbit out of the Chairman Powell hat with recalibrate, huh? That was his favorite word in his last press conference.
Recalibrate our targets here.
Yeah. When he did the 50 basis point rate cut, he used the word recalibrate 8 times in his speech afterwards. So it's hilarious that you just use that word. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, they need to recalibrate life. Holy cow, those guys. Man.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, this has been good.
I agree there.
We'll meet up. We'll meet up next week, and we'll see how things are going. Hopefully, even better than they are today. But if you guys want more tidbits, obviously, go ahead and go follow us over on Digital Investor. We do shows 5 days a week where we cover all this stuff. We go through the ups, the downs, everything that we need to do in crypto, especially stuff like that Jupiter play that I was talking about earlier, where people were rewarded handsomely for doing exactly what we talked about. So go ahead and get over there and get us a follow. Go ahead and sign up for our little education sessions, and we'll be rocking and rolling.
Yeah, those of you that are watching and are interested in crypto, hopefully you're starting to learn that this is the guy to listen to. So tell your friends to watch this show. Go see Brandon's business there, and make yourself some money over the next few years. I think it's going to be pretty wild to see how things play out in crypto land after this brief little pause that we've had. It looks ready to run again. We talked about this a few weeks ago, as we said, and it's all playing out exactly as we discussed. So, Brandon, it's a pleasure to chat with you and hear your insights. As always, thanks for spending the time with us, and look forward to talking to you again next week.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Take care, everybody.